Hey y'all, it's Deb, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you 3 dinners that you can make for under $20. And keep in mind, I live in a high cost city. I'm feeding 4 adults and a preteen, so we eat a lot of food. So I feel like if I could do it where I live, you should be able to do it too. For this challenge, I only allowed myself $20 maximum, and that includes every ingredient I will be using. However, the only thing that I'm going to allow myself to use are my spices that I already have. Other than that, I had to buy everything I would need to make these recipes. So I'm going to show you a rundown of the app. That way you can see all the prices and you can compare to what they are in your area. I'm going to go through every item that I purchased, and then I'm going to let you see the recipes that I'm going to make. And again, all of these recipes have to feed 5 pretty large people. Basically 5 adults. The first thing that I want to start with is the meat. This 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters is going to complete all 3 meals. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I have it in a container because they tend to leak. 1 package of frozen mixed veggies. Now, normally if you watch my videos, I don't buy anything like this. I make this homemade. But for this video, we're going to pretend like I didn't have anything in stock. 1 box of pasta, that's going to be 1 meal. Another meal is going to involve 2 tomatoes, onion. I even was able to afford some cheese, and we're going to have some of this left over, which is going to be awesome. Beans and corn. And again, normally I make these homemade, but for the sake of the video, we're going to do it this way. A bag of rice. Also, we're going to have some left over from this. We're not going to use it all, so you can keep that in your pantry stash. 2 cans of soup, 2 packages of frozen peas. These are the spices that I pulled from my cabinet that I'm allowing myself to have, and I deliberately chose the ones that are pretty common that you probably have. This is our salt right here. You're not going to see any black pepper because it irritates some of our stomachs. So there's sage, cumin, smoked paprika, this is a really good one, rosemary, thyme, garlic, and onion powder. The first thing that I want to do before I get started on these 3 recipes, I'm going to take this chicken, I'm going to make sure it's defrosted, I'm going to take the skin off, and I'm going to separate the drumsticks from the thighs. Okay, so the drumsticks and the thighs have been separated, skin and the fat have been trimmed off. The first recipe that I'm going to work on is this chicken and rice casserole, because I want this to bake. This is going to take about 45 minutes to cook. I want this to cook while I'm working on everything else. The first thing that I'm going to do is empty this soup into here. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of water, all of my seasonings, and I'm going to whisk that together really, really well. Now I'm going to put 1.5 cups of rice into my baking dish, and then I'm going to pour this over it and mix it really well. Next, I'm going to lay as many drumsticks as I can into this casserole dish. So our casserole dish is full, and what's great is this is left over, and I'm going to add it to our bowl with the thighs, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So what I'm going to do is put this in the oven at 375. It's going to take, everybody's oven is different. I would check it after 25 minutes, make sure that the rice is done. You may need to stir it up a little bit, like off the sides. You want to cook this until your meat is 160 degrees on the inside. If you feel like everything is starting to brown too quick, you can cover it with foil until it's done. Our chicken and rice casserole is in the oven. While that's cooking, I want to cook this meat. In order to get this meat to stretch as far as possible, what I'm going to do is take all of the pieces, put it in a large pot of water, and let it boil on the stove. No seasonings, just water. Just trust me, the other recipes are going to turn out great. We just want to get the meat cooked and off the bone. So our meat is in a pot of water, getting ready to come to a boil. I'm going to boil that for about 30 minutes until it's done completely through, and then I'm going to remove all the meat off the bones. It's getting hot, I can hear it. While that's going, I'm going to do the dishes, clean all that up, and sanitize our counter. That kind of freaks me out when I'm working with raw chicken. And then I'm going to show you the next couple of steps for the next 2 recipes. Earlier, when I was showing you all of the groceries that I bought, I totally forgot to show you this bunch of bananas that I got. This is just in case one of our meals is not bulky enough and anybody in the family is still hungry and needs something to add to it. This is a great way to bulk up your meals for cheap. The next thing that I'm gonna do is chop up our 2 tomatoes, like dice it up, and then I'm gonna dice up our onion. I'm gonna cover these with saran wrap and put them in the fridge so that they're ready when we're ready to eat. While our chicken continues to boil, I'm going to saute the onion that I just diced. If you have oil in your pantry, you can absolutely add a couple tablespoons to keep these from sticking, but if you don't have any and you're trying to save as much money as possible, use a couple tablespoons of water. It absolutely works. As your chicken is cooking, you can absolutely use a strainer and get some of that foam off. In this large bowl, I'm going to combine my cooked onions. I'm going to drain and rinse off the black beans and drain the corn. All 3 of these are going to go right into here. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. It's our air purifier. The next thing that I'm going to do is cook up 1 cup of rice with 2 cups of water. Let that cook and I'll add the cooked rice to our bowl. And from there, we're just going to wait for our chicken to get done. Just checking on our chicken and rice casserole. This is about 25 minutes in. It needs about 25 minutes more. This is absolutely gonna feed us at least once. Several people in my family are gonna be able to have some leftovers. So this is a great, cheap option. The chicken is still going, and I'm gonna use this meat thermometer to check them when I think they're about done. I think they need about 10 minutes more, but we're rocking and rolling. Our chicken is done, so I'm gonna take my time and strip all the meat off of all the thighs and the drumstick, and then I'm gonna place it into this bowl. Our rice is done, so I added it to the beans, the corn, and the cooked onion, and I'm gonna stir that up, and then we're gonna add in the last ingredients. This is the same pot that the chicken cooked in. All that's been taken out. I'm gonna bring this back up to a bowl, throw these in there, and also add our pasta. That's gonna cook for about 10 minutes, and this is gonna be our 3rd meal. I'll show you how we're gonna finish it off. Here's all the chicken taken off the bone. I'm gonna put it back on our cutting board and chop it up into bite-sized pieces, and then I'm gonna split it between our 2 last meals. Half of the chopped chicken I added to our rice, cooked onions, black beans, and corn. We're gonna flavor it up with cumin, smoked paprika, garlic, and salt. And then this is gonna be ready to serve. This has come to a boil. I dumped the pasta in there. I'm gonna let that cook for 9 minutes, and then we're gonna drain everything off. Our burrito bowls are done, and we can serve this with tomatoes on top and shredded cheese. If you have things like lettuce, salsa, guacamole in your pantry or in your fridge, feel free to use it. But just for the sake of keeping these meals super cheap, this is how my family's gonna eat it. Our chicken and rice casserole is done. Y'all, I know this doesn't look like much. It looks super bland. I'm telling you, you gotta trust me, this is so good. My family loves it. Because of the thyme and rosemary, it is full of flavor. Okay, let's finish off our 3rd meal. So the rest of the chopped chicken is in a bowl. To this bowl, I'm gonna add the soup and 1 can of water, onion powder, thyme, rosemary, sage, salt, and garlic. I'm gonna whisk that all together. And then to that, we're gonna put all of that in here. We're also gonna add our cooked pasta and mixed veggies. Okay, let me edit that. Only use a half can of water instead of a full can. We want this to stay kind of thick because what we're doing is we're making a sauce. My family likes to call this chicken pot pie pasta. Okay, let's do a quick recap. Chicken and rice casserole, I'm gonna serve it with frozen peas. Chicken pot pie pasta with bananas if someone is still hungry. Burrito bowls with fresh chopped tomatoes and shredded cheese. So there you have it. Those are 3 nutritious, filling, different, great tasting recipes that you can make for your family for under $20. I have a feeling there are going to be some leftovers from each of these 3. So night number 4, number 1, I don't have to cook or clean. And number 2, it's still under $20 and we're probably gonna be able to all eat that 4th night. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. I'm cheering you on. If I can do it, I know that you can. I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.